My first video of my video blog. Um, so the reason why I started doing this is because, a lot of people in the black community don't really get um, their recognition. And I feel like putting light on some of the people that wouldn't necessarily get it, I thought was a good idea. And there's plenty of black excellence that is pushed under the rug. There's a lot of black excellence that is misunderstood, and there's a lot of black excellence that will be never heard about otherwise. So I kind of felt like I needed to give an outlet to that. So my first video blog is going to be about the first millionaire here in America. Happens to be a black woman, Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker was the first American millionaire. She was born Sarah Breedlove in Delta, Louisiana, on December 23rd, 1867. She was one of 6 children, and she was born right after her family was taken out of slavery by the Emancipation Proclamation. Her mother died when she was about 6 years old from cholera. She was orphaned at the age of 7, and she moved to Vicksburg, Mississippi at the age of 10, where she lived with her older sister and started working as a domestic servant. Now, she wasn't very educated, obviously, at the age of 10, and she actually only had 3 months of formal education that she learned during Sunday school at literacy lessons at church. In 1882, at the age of 14, Sarah got married to a gentleman named Moses McWilliams. Sarah and Moses had a daughter, Alelia Walker, born 3 days before my daughter, on June 6th. But this is back in 1885. When Moses died in 1887, her and her daughter moved to St. Louis, Missouri. And she lived there with one of her brothers, and she earned less than $1 a day doing laundry. Okay, so this is the meat of the story right here. Okay, this is why she started the business. Like other women in her era, Sarah suffered from dandruff and other conditions, including baldness, due to skin disorders through the application of harsh products back in the day. They were made from lye, and lye was in soaps, hair cleaning products, and even used it to wash your clothes. It's very harsh for skin, and so it gave her a lot of conditions. Other contributing factors, including illness, infrequent bathing, and just the lack of indoor plumbing, central heating, and electricity also contributed to many of the disorders she already had. Sarah learned about hair care from her brothers because they were barbers in St. Louis. And this was around the time of the World's Fair in 1904. She became a commission agent selling products for Annie Malone. While working for Malone, she later became, Walker's largest rival in hair care industry. So the person she worked for, Annie Malone, actually gave her first job, and then later on became one of her rivals in the hair care product industry, which is pretty interesting. At the age of 37, In 1905, Sarah and her daughter moved to Denver, Colorado, where she continued to sell products for Malone and developed her own hair care business. There was some controversy between Anne Malone and Sarah. Um, Sarah was actually accused of stealing um, Malone's product, her formula, rather. But it was really just a mixture of petroleum jelly, sulfur, and this is at that time it had already been used for about 100 years. So that was kind of the controversy leading up to that. So everybody knows this woman as Madam C.J. Walker, and she didn't get that name until about 1906. Okay, and the reason she got that name is because she married a gentleman with the last name of Walker. All right, so in 1906, Sarah became Madam C.J. Walker, which we still call her today. And she became an independent hairdresser and retailer of cosmetic creams. The word madam was actually adopted from women pioneers of the French beauty industry. And so that's where she got her name, the madam part. In 1906, Walker put her daughter in charge of the mail order operations in Denver, while her and her husband traveled throughout the southern and eastern United States to expand their business. In 1908, Walker and her husband relocated to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where they opened a beauty parlor and established a college to train hair culturists. As an advocate for Black women's economic independence, she opened training programs in the Walker system for her national network of licensed sales agents who earned healthy commissions. At this time, she established an office and beauty salon in New York City, in Harlem. This would be around the time of 1913, and this was around the Harlem Renaissance, actually. In 1910, a little bit before that, she had another business started in Indianapolis, and she started the manufacturing company there in Indianapolis. She later built a factory, and when she built her factory, she outfitted most of the positions with women, and so many of the positions at her factory were held by women. Between 1911 and 1919, during the height of her career, Walker and her company employed several thousand women as sales agents for their products, and the company claimed to have trained nearly 20,000 women by 1917. In addition to sales and grooming, training in sales and grooming, Walker showed other Black women how to budget, build their own businesses, and encouraged them to become financially independent. In 1917, inspired by the National Association of Colored Women, Walker began organizing her own sales agents, and this result was the establishment of the National Beauty Culturists and Benevolent Association of Madam C.J. Walker's agents. So she did a lot to help her community and a lot to help women of color. She helped to raise funds to establish a branch of Young Women's Christian. She helped raise funds to establish a branch of the YMCA in Indianapolis. She contributed to scholarships funding the Tuskegee Institute. Other beneficiaries included Indianapolis Flanner House and the Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church. It's a mouthful. She contributed to the Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona, Florida, as well as the Palmer Memorial Institute in North Carolina, as well as Haynes Normal and Industrial Institute in Georgia. So she made a lot of contributions to the African American community. She became involved in political matters in New York. She delivered lectures on political, economic, and social issues at conventions. And during World War I, she was a leader in the Circle for Negro War Relief and advocated for the establishment of training camps for Black Army officers. In 1917, she joined an executive committee for the New York chapter of the NAACP, which organized the silent protest parade in New York. And 8,000 African Americans attended the parade there in New York that she was a part of. Profits from her business significantly impacted Walker's contributions to her political and philanthropic interest. In 1918, the National Association of Colored Women's Club honored Walker for making the largest individual contribution. And I wasn't sure exactly how big the contribution was. I didn't get those numbers, but she was definitely held in high regard. Before her death in 1919, she pledged about $5,000, which today would be around $72,000, in the NAACP's anti-lynching fund. At the time, it was the largest gift from an individual that the NAACP had ever received. Walker bequeathed nearly $100,000 rather to orphanages, institutions, and individuals who directly were affected by lynching. Unfortunately, Walker died on May 25th, 1919 from kidney failure and complications of hypertension at the age of 51, and her remains were left there in a Woodland Cemetery in the Bronx, New York. When she died, she was estimated to be worth around $600,000, which estimated would have been worth about $9 million today. So back in 1919, when she died, it was about $600,000. Today, it would have been worth around $9 million. And that was calculated by dollartimes.com. All the information I got today was off of Google, Wikipedia, and history.com as well. So that's the end of my presentation for Madam C.J. Walker. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please look me up on Instagram, Abdias_Dalisme_42. Also on Facebook, Abdias Dalisme. And on the YouTube channel as well, Timeless Entertainment, Limitless Productions. We have our own YouTube channel as well. Go ahead and check us out. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you check us out at Abdias_Dalisme underscore 42 at Instagram. Also Timeless, Limitless at YouTube. Also, Facebook.com/timelesslimitless. Thanks, guys.